Hi, welcome to another trick of the week. In this one, we're going to be looking at finding our way around seventh chords, all over the neck, different versions of the same seventh chord. And we're going to use diminished chords to link them together, not only to help us find where the next one is, but to create a really nice run between them like you heard at the beginning. Now all I did at the beginning was play a series of A7 chords and link them together with two diminished chords in between each one, like this. A7, diminished, diminished, A7, diminished, diminished, A7, diminished, diminished, A7. You don't have to go all the way up the neck, you could just link two of them. So why would you want to do this? Well, I'll give you an example. Here's two bars of A7. Here's two bars of A7, but for the second bar I'm going to play a different position of A7, a different inversion. It's the same notes, they're just jumbled up and found in different places on the neck. Bit more interesting. Now I'm going to link them together with the diminished chords. Sounds cool, doesn't it? There's a simple rule we can follow to work out these chords and to put the links in. First of all though, let's get the diminished chord shape under our fingers. The easiest way to describe the best way of playing it is to take your first two fingers and play that, sometimes called the Hawaiian D7. Second fret on the second and fourth strings, like that. Make sure your index finger is the one on the G string. Then take these two fingers and play the first and third strings one fret higher, filling in the gaps between those two fingers, the two strings we're not already playing. Now that diminished chord shape gives us every diminished chord we need just by sliding it up and down the neck, so it's a really good one to have under your fingers. So make sure you can get to that first of all, and now here's the way that we can link them together. We're going to do it in A to start with, and then we'll try it with some other chords. So A7, first of all we need to find the note that chord is named after, the A. Not too hard because we have our A string here, our open A string in the first string. We move that one up 2 frets and form a diminished chord shape around it. So 1, 2, and you're going to want to find that note with your little finger because then the other fingers will be able to form the diminished shape. So I've gone from A, I've taken this note here, this open string, moved it up 1, 2 frets, and now I'm going to form that diminished chord around it, which will be at the first and second frets. When I've done that, I slide it up 1 more fret to the second and third frets, and then I slide it up 1 more time, but there's something wrong with that one. I need to make that into another A7, and this is how I do it. One of the notes in that chord is 1 fret higher than it needs to be. And the one that needs to move is the one that's 1 fret higher than the root. And it needs to go back to the root. So I have to look for an A note again that's 1 step below one of those. And I have an A note at the second fret of my G string, but I'm playing the 3rd fret. So if I lower that finger down, I've now got this shape that kind of looks like a G7 moved up 2 frets, because that's exactly what it is. And that is an A7 chord. Let me do that in close-up. And that rule works with any 7th chord moving up to the next inversion of that same 7th chord. Let's try it with some other chords. How about a C7? Now our C is our open C string. So this time we're going to want to play, not with our little finger, we're going to want to form a diminished chord. Well, when we play a diminished chord, that string is normally played by our ring finger. So we're going to raise up that note and play it with our ring finger, and then we can fit all the other fingers around to make the diminished chord, which will be, as before, at the 1st fret. We slide it up 1. We slide it up 1 more, and we find out which one of those is just above a C, the root note. Now we have a C at the 3rd fret of the A string here. We know that because we play a C chord holding it. So we need to lower down that note our little finger's got, and we get this bar chord like that. And that's a C7, so we get this. Let's try it with a G7. There's our G7. Our G is our open G string. We're going to want to move that up 2 frets. This time we're going to play it with our 1st finger, because if you remember when we play that diminished chord shape, it's our 1st finger that's on that string. So G7, and move up that G 2 frets with our index finger and form the rest of the diminished chord around it. Slide it up 1 more, but on this one look for the note that's 1 step above a G. There's a G hiding right behind our 2nd finger. Our 2nd finger's on the 4th fret of the 2nd string, and the 3rd fret of the 2nd string is a G. Now we can't just slide that down, so we're going to do this. We're going to flip our first 2 fingers round, so now I'm playing the 3rd fret. When I was here, this finger was playing the 4th fret. If I flip them round, then I've got the 3rd fret there, and I've got G7. Try it with some other chord shapes. Don't forget as well, like I did at the beginning, that once you've got to that other 7th chord, you can apply the same rule to get to yet another 7th chord and keep going until you run out of neck. I did it with the A7 chord right at the beginning. I did A7 like we did at the beginning. But then when I got to this A7th chord, I found my A, which is now on the G string, and I did the same thing. I moved it up 2 frets and made a diminished chord, moved it up a 3rd one, found where one of my fingers is 1 step above an A, there, and I've got another A7. And now I know where my A is because it's the one I just lowered, so I then move that up 2 frets and make another diminished chord, slide it up, and when I slide up again, I look again and go, crikey, where's the A now? Oh, it's here, so it's my ring finger, I'll lower that. And I could keep going until I ran out of fingerboard. It's going to take a while to get your fingers around these, but they're a really good way of practicing moving up and down the neck. And also, don't forget to do them backwards as well, because they work in both directions. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.